God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. It's the law of cause and effect. So when someone says to me, I get panic attacks, I'm a little challenged by that, because you know you just can't. If I'm walking in that forest, a panic attack's not going to strike me, is it? No, no, no. A panic attack has a cause. Now, if I'm working in that forest and a bear appears, I'll probably panic. But it's got a cause. It's the bear. You see that? There is a cause. So apparently there aren't bears around here, so I can walk in the bush. Well, you call it the woods, the forest. So if someone says I get panic attacks, I'm immediately intrigued. So then I begin to investigate. Where did you get your first panic attack? Well, there was a problem at work and I knew who was the cause, so I told the boss that night I got a brick through my front window. Well, now that's the time to panic, isn't it? In Ecclesiastes, there's a beautiful section that it says there's a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to build, a time to build down or break down. You might be familiar with a very famous singing group from the 60s, 70s called the Seekers. Australia was very proud of their Seekers because they made it big in the US. I see some heads nodding. And there's a song that, do everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. They were sort of like they had a lot of gospel songs. So there was a song that made Ecclesiastes famous. There's a time to panic and there's a time to cry and there's a time. And who tells us when's the best time, basically? Our prefrontal cortex, because our emotions can arise with all sorts of things. So what had happened that night is she got a shock. Well, we'd all get a shock if a brick came through our front window, wouldn't we? And it made a strong pathway in her brain. That's a physical pathway. Science has shown they're physical pathways. Now, what happened the next time she went through a stressful situation, her emotions went down that pathway. And it surprised her a little bit, but she didn't understand it and she didn't really know it was happening. And so by the time she came to our health retreat, she had a well-worn pathway to panic. Wasn't there a well-worn pathway? Well, I mean a big pathway when that happened? Yes, it was. But if she'd realised what was happening in her, and I think you'll agree with me, many are sick through ignorance, physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually. If she'd realised what was happening, she would have gone, oh, that, and not gone down the pathway. But she didn't realise. She kept going down there to the point where she thought, this is me now. And if this is me now, guess what it will be? Me. It will be me. It's as simple as this. If you say you can, you will.